Don't be mad about that shit. Bang, 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 bang.
Final countdown.
What up, what up, what up, people? What's good? Salute, salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel. And reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's good, everybody? Sixth element of hip hop here. I'm your host, Reno, and this is your co-host, Stu Dog. What's good, Stu Dog? What's happening?
What up, what up, what up?
It is Wu War Wednesdays. So finally it's back to Wu Tang. An American Saga is coming on Wednesday, so we'll be chopping that up every Wednesday. Last Wednesday they dropped the first 3 episodes, which were crazy. I apologize because I didn't realize it was dropping yet, or we would have done the review, to break, all of that. Then Corey Agile was good. But this is the new joint. It's season 3. We just got episode 4 today. People in the United States, anyways, probably are familiar with the yard sign that says politicians are temporary, but Wu Tang is forever. Or it'll say, Trump is temporary, Wu Tang is forever, something like that. And this sort of illustrates, just how popular the musicians and these lyricists are, and it just shows how much legacy that the group Wu Tang has earned globally. But more recently, they've been sort of immortalized in this television series known as Wu Tang and American Saga. I look at it as merch. It's Wu Tang merch. It's just like having a Wu Tang lunchbox or a Wu Tang t-shirt. This is just another Wu Tang product to consume. And the first season of Wu Tang and American Saga came out in 2019, September 4th. It dropped. Second season started September 8th, 2021, and ran through October 27th. With the clan on the verge of massive success at the end of season 2, just about to blow up. They had gone through, the first season of them meeting each other and forming the group and everything, and then season 2 and all those events sort of play out in this third and final season here, and this season 3 did premiere on Hulu February 15th, last Wednesday, with 3 episodes, with new installments will come out every Wednesday up until April 5th will be the finale of the finale. And it's been an impressively high Rotten Tomato score throughout the multi-season run. Wu Tang and American Saga was created from input, with input from the original, members, RZA. It's really based on the 2 books, the Wu Tang Manual and the Tao of Wu. I looked over there because I have them on the show. The series is about, it's a fictionalized version of the group as they grew up, in New York and Staten Island and all of that. And basically it's like a dramatized, fantasized, sort of retelling of their rise to power. Eventually, becoming a cornerstone of popular culture and hip hop, period. So, but season 3, we've got, the plot of season 3 is basically, continue to track the group's progress, right? From crime, from neighborhood antics and street shit to up through full-blown megastars touring, big stadiums and all of that. And according to Hulu's official plot synopsis, the group is coming off the success of their debut album, right? They had just dropped that joint, but now they've got challenges in the way. Method Man's album has come out. Album has come out. And a lot of the members, especially Inspector Deck, who is on every song of the first album, was supposed to have the first solo album, and that's kind of how they did it. They based it on like who was on the most tracks, because the way you got on those tracks the way you got on the song was out of all the guys, you had to have a dope verse, dope enough to get on that beat, to get on that track, and everybody, and so only a few guys would make it out of each song, and that's how they put together that first album, and so you know Deck ended up being so dope that he got on every single track, and that spoke a lot just to the group. That told them that he was the one. And from so on, and then Method Man did the hooks. You know what I'm saying? And so they all had their shit that they threw into the pot. But basically, as the synopsis reads, while each of the members go on a separate journey to figure out where they fit in the music world, RZA struggles to stay on top of things in order to fulfill the promise he made to his Wu brothers. As money, fame, ego, and business threaten to tear the group apart, they must find a way to come together and cement their legacy. Um, it's set back in the wake of Wu Tang's blockbuster, game-changing debut album. Season 3 kind of finds the group uh basking in the glow of the success. They're all just sort of happy, but they're also very fearful about the future. A lot of them are wondering about the next moves. You got a lot of the members are wondering what's going on with their albums. Master Killer, who was only on one song, was not originally going to be a member in the show, and so in this season is when RZA tells him to come on tour. So he comes on tour with them, and they show the dynamic of Raekwon really being kind of salty about that. He's like, why he coming on? That's another dude, and that's splitting up the pie. We already splitting it 8 ways. Now we got to split it 9 ways. Why are we adding a guy? And sort of that dynamic, and that sort of joint, that shit plays out. Um, and basically, they're just struggling, trying to decide what to do next as a group, as individual musicians, stuff like that. And as they, you know, the newly proclaimed standard bearers of hip hop, Wu Tang, they want to stay at the top, of the music world and sort of carve out that legacy, while also, considering evolving and keeping up with what's new. And part of the Wu takeover, or the 5-year plan for the Wu world domination, involved recording another album that took up too much time, too much money, too much effort, as well as the personal problems, and just two of the stressors that can make success, a double-edged sword, really. And a lot goes on this season. One of the big things that they deal with, of course, is You God's son gets shot. Remember? So this is the time when You God's son gets shot, and they show that shit in the. So that happens in this last episode. The episode that come out today, episode 4. They're on tour. So this whole episode is basically them on tour, on the bus. Getting used to tour life, bus life. Trying to figure out how 9 dudes on a bus sleep, and how they hang out and deal with shit, with rules, certain rules like no shitting on the bus. You know what I'm saying? Certain rules that they gotta abide by. And a lot of funny shit happens, like Raekwon's got this George Foreman grill. Remember the George Foreman grill?
Yeah.
He Ray was big on that shit. He got the George Foreman grill because that shit had just come out then. And so he got the Foreman grill and he brings it on the bus, and because he's always cooking up paninis and shit. He the chef, and so he's on the bus, and he's eating one of his paninis and shit, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he pulls like a thread out of his mouth, a piece of string. He's like, "Why the fuck is it a string in my shit?" And he goes and he looks at the Foreman grill, and this string, little threads on the grill, and he's bugging out. He's like, "Yo, who the fuck using my shit? Who's over here fucking with my shit?" And of course, nobody cops to it. And so later, they're walking back to the bus, and it's just like Ray and like two I think it's Ray and Deck and Jizz, I believe. And they get on the bus, and the bus driver, this foreign dude, like he's like some Polish dude. The bus driver is butt ass naked in the middle of the bus, Stu, with his socks, with his drawers steaming on the fucking foreman grill with like a, I don't know, a spatula or something. He's like flipping his socks over. I guess he's drying his underwear and his socks on the foreman grill. And RZA, they had, I guess, what's his name? RZA's older brother, Divine, tells him, he gives him money for a room. Like the bus driver, he gets an allowance, a certain amount of money for the hotel room. And so they found out that he was pocketing the hotel money and sleeping on the bus, which is fucked up. Shitting on the bus, doing laundry in the fucking grill and all of this shit. And they beat his ass. They beat him down. They gave him a straight beat down on the bus, left him fucking lumped up and kicked him off the bus. And so Mook has to drive the bus now, and it's crazy. Because you remember Mook was a bus driver.
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm. He was like, man, I ain't supposed to be driving no bus no more. But viewers and hip hop fans that are require historical accuracy, and integrity, probably rest assured that the events of this show, they're as true to life as possible, but also to make it not boring and fit in a small 30-minute episode and all of that. So it's not gonna be fucking it's not a documentary, right? It's not a documentary. It's mad dramatized. RZA, he co-created a series with the Watchmen screenwriter Alex Zay, and he kind of served as what do you call it, consultant and executive producer for the season, and Method Man, Brian Grazer, and all of them. And RZA co-wrote a couple of the episodes. Oh, he co-wrote, I want to say 6 or 7 of the episodes actually, and Zay too, and then for the surviving Wu Tang icons, Jizza, Master Killer, Inspector Deck, and Ghostface were all employed as consulting producers throughout the run of the whole series, different seasons and whatnot. But overall, it's a historical series about Staten Island hip hop legends, Wu Tang Clan. But the critical assessment is mixed feelings, above average territory. The show as a whole scored a 58 out of 100 on review aggregator, Metacritic, and on Rotten Tomatoes. I think season 1 got 75%, and but I don't know about the additional seasons so far. But season 3, people, critics, audiences alike seem to like the latest and final slate of episodes about as much as they did the previous chapters. Personally, I think this is so far the best of the 3 seasons, just because I think they kind of figured out, they got into their own and they figured out how they wanted to do shit, and they're doing it. They got a good system down, whatever. And they're telling a story. It makes this one. This is kind of that. This is the season that everybody was waiting for. This is the shit of like the purple tape, the solo albums, the tour bus, the backstage, Wu Tang as the rap group, all the stuff that we were kind of there for, right? We lived a lot of this shit. You know what I'm saying? We basically, grew up with Wu Tang, and that this is the season that kind of starts the shit we would know as fans. Season 1, season 2, you wouldn't know it unless you were the actual members of the group. But this is the season that I think people are waiting for. This is the stuff that you remember from from the 90s and shit. Whippa! What's good, Almega? Comic Crusaders, salute. Homie did the bing ring. Oh, and Baby Bayou. So Corey's talking about episode 3 about ODB. This episode was crazy, and I got another homeboy who hates this episode. He was like, "This shit, I couldn't even watch it." He's like, "What the fuck's going on?" Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, "Bruh, this is the episode ODB would have written. This is the episode he would have
Yeah,
done." So, because
yeah.
like the
That was
other,
a good episode.
yeah, um, all the other episodes are about the story, right? But this particular episode, it was like a one shot where it was like a satire. It took place in like this fake comedy club in the 70s, and it's all black exploitation. So if you remember ODB's video back in the day where he was all discoed out and it was all like black exploitation imagery and shit like that, and like a disco vibe to it. And that's sort of what this whole episode was. It was just all the members were playing these characters. Divine looked just like fucking um uh what's his name? Fucking damn, what's his name? The guy that plays Superfly. Shit.
Oh, Ron O'Neal.
Ron O'Neal. He's dressed like Ron O'Neal. He's got the long straight hair with the mustache and the fedora and shit. Everybody was pimped out. It was funny. But it's a funny episode. It definitely takes you out of the story. It's not part of the story. It's just a side thing, just ODB fucking around. I wasn't mad at it, man. I'm like Corey, man. I loved it. You know, it was cool because they gave us 3 episodes at once. If we had to wait a week for that episode, I could see a lot of people kind of being upset at that, you know, because they're like, "Oh man, I
Yeah.
waited a whole week to see where the story was going, and we got this whole
It
side
gave
thing."
us a filler. It gave us a filler episode.
Filler,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That episode was dope. I like ODB, man. That's my. I miss ODB, man.
I
Keep it in a
know, right?
buck, man.
Yeah, man. Dirty, man. You know, I really don't like the way he's portrayed in this show. The kid that's playing him, you know, he's doing a good job acting like old dirty bastard pretends to act in on videos and shit like that. But like that's not how dirty really was. And it's kind of like he's acting like that when he's just chilling and shit. And it's like he's kind of making him seem like he's an idiot. You know what I'm saying? ODB was a brilliant dude. He was just, you know, he's wild. He didn't have no inhibitions, but he wasn't fucking stupid, you know. And he's kind of playing him like kind of buffoonish, and I don't really like that. Ason Unique, according to all the members, was mad, you know, wise and a smart guy. But yeah, you know, it's a bittersweet moment for Wu Tang fans and hip hop fans and fans of this show, because you know it is coming to it is the last season. This is the final season, and it's dope because, like I said, it's bittersweet because we getting all the dope storylines, the culmination, the payoff is here. We seeing the parts that we know, and but at the same time, it's coming to an end, so that sucks. Because I would like to see this go on, bro. I want to see it. I want to see the Wu Tang Forever album and all of that. Like, I don't know if they're gonna go that far in this one. I want to see that. I want to see Supreme Clientele, bro. I want to see Ghostface do his shit. I want they bro the Wu. This show could have kept going for fucking 10 seasons, man. It really could. I don't know why they're ending it in 3 seasons. Matter of fact, that wasn't really the plan. That wasn't really the plan. They didn't originally plan to just do 3 seasons. Um, one I think it was what's his name? Divine said that shit. But yeah, they didn't plan to do 3 seasons, but you know, to bring it to a close, uh the plot of this season sort of focuses on the successful years, you know, at they're sort of living through their strategic 5-year plan. That was the first thing that RZA set up was the 5-year plan, giving everybody their own deals out, you know, labels or whatever. And Stu, as many, a lot of fans I think know, Wu Tang's peak success in the '90s was just the tip of the iceberg, because each member goes on to pursue their own solo career. So of course, this show could have continued on for plenty more seasons, man, with a lot of real life material to pull from. But RZA and Alex Zay, um, the 3-season timeline wasn't really up to them. That's not really that wasn't really the plan. That's not really how they wanted to do it. RZA said, he said, this is a Hollywood business. He said, and it's tough to get TV shows. So we could have done the series in one season because we don't know. You never know. And then Alex Zay said, I think when we found out that this would be the final season, there was sort of a natural off ramp that we were headed to, that like, okay, this kind of coincides with this part of the timeline. So we just have to pivot the tone of it to feel like a series finale. So I didn't feel that like the transition was necessarily super hard. So basically what they're saying is they didn't write this to be the finale, the final season, but it kind of works as the final season the way they did write it. Yeah, the show was a slow burn success, you know, because it came out 2019, and
Mm.
but it had good storytelling methods. It was very different. I mean, this show is pretty unique. It's not like anything we've ever seen from a biographical, series, and rather than take a linear approach to a familiar story, this season sort of follows all the turns of the group's musical journey, you know, going from the, streets, drugs, poverty, crime, and all of that to the golden era of the, of the to the top of the industry where they end up, and it paid off pretty well. Um, but because a lot of shows they follow a formula, the way shows are done and shit, and this show is different, man. And RZA said he said it took us a long time to get a green light for season two, of what he calls a very challenging show. But when they did, the series started making more ambitious moves and shit, and that's why the show gets better as each season goes on. And I think this season is definitely the best one, with everything from the music making montages that they did in season two with 36 chambers, the whole recording process, to the whole visual representation of RZA's brain, what I'm saying, going inside, seeing all the different, characters and shit in his mind. And fans loved it, they couldn't get enough of it. So it really blew up pretty quick. But they didn't anticipate this being the last season. They still prepared for it in a way in advance. I think Alex said, he said a lot of the ideas that you see in season 3 are the ones that we thought about in season 1 that are kind of pretty much in the same place. And on a lighter note, RZA said that it's been incredible to watch his talented cast evolve and modernize the iconic era that he lived through with his group mates. He said, we've watched them grow as people, as talent. He said, and I will honestly say, one of the greatest joys is to see these actors actually grow, as I saw my Wu Tang brothers grow in their process from coming, from the first album off their big successful albums and all of that. And Zay said, we have a whole mix of talent, some of whom had established careers and some who, were new guys. And so that's been pretty gratifying. He said, I think one of the big kicks for me in this season, when you talk about actor growth, seeing different actors play different roles and saying, oh, I didn't know that they had that in the bag, and it's been real fun, this part of the particular season that's been different than the other two. End quote. But the co-creators say the real reward for them is getting to, getting the chance to revisit critical moments in hip hop, hip hop history with this new generation of fans. Because watching this, watching these are young guys, these are young kids that's playing these roles. Like they're pretending to be 90s dudes, and that shit is kind of funny to see. But I mean, this is a whole new generation that's getting to experience Wu Tang like that. I don't know if this is all a good thing though, because I don't know if this show is a great representation of Wu Tang Clan. It's definitely not a representation of how I felt about them in the 90s, or how that they really appeared in the 90s, or how shit even was in the 90s. It's not that. So, as far as it, bringing Wu Tang to the new generation and all of that stuff that I think that they, tend to do, it might do that. It might make them interested enough to listen to put on a Wu Tang album or something like that, or get into it,
Mhm.
or check it out. But I don't think this show is a good representation of the 90s, or hip hop, or Wu Tang, or any of it really. It's just an interesting show, and it's funny to see, you know. It's really funny to see like these young kids saying shit like I seen it like a zenith god, and all that shit, yo. That shit just has me dying, bro. It just brings joy to my soul, man. I just love it. I just love it. Um Over the course of all the seasons, it really gives us a good idea of, you know, how the group came about and all of that. That dude, Sadiq Saunderson, that plays Ghostface. Power of Wu Tang. He said that he was already a fan of Wu Tang and shit. So some of these kids already knew Wu Tang, but most of them didn't. And then Dave East, Dave East, he's playing Method Man. Of course, he already knows what's up.
Yeah, he should. Yeah.
Wish they would have done the seasons by the albums. Yeah, man, that would have been great, man. That would have been a really. I somebody else said that too. Who was talking about that? It would have been dope to do that, because it really could have worked out. The way that, I mean, I guess they could have, a couple of them would have had to been done like at the same time. They probably would have did the Meth and ODB album would have probably been one season or something like that, man. But they could have done 1,000 things, man. This shit could have been going on and on for a while now.
Yeah, that's true. It would have been doper if they did it by albums. Yeah,
Yeah,
three
it would.
albums, 3 seasons, 3 albums. That's 9 albums. I
Yeah.
covered the whole group.
Um,
I got tomorrow. I'm gonna get the preview for Free Comic Book Day. So I think Saturday we can we can
mm.
go over. We can start going over
What's that? It's
some of
the
the
it tells you
comics.
what's
Yeah,
on
what
there.
comics are coming out? Yeah, what comics are coming out? Um,
That'd be dope.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get that Saturday. And go over that because the first week I think is Won't be here. Shit, this was March, February, March, April. Yeah, it'd be like a month away after that. Oh yeah, I finally seen a legit version of Ant Man. It was good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't
yeah.
take nothing away from it, man.
What, did you see it in
Jason
the theater,
Momoa.
or they
Yeah,
got it
yeah.
online?
No, I went seen it. I went seen it in theater, man. Because I watched the bootleg. It was good, but the sound wasn't really all that. But I watched it in a good with a good
Yeah.
picture, good sound. It was good, man. Like I don't personally, right now, I don't know what everybody was tripping over. It was just
I
it
mean,
was an Ant Man movie.
I've heard people say that it was the worst movie so far and all this ridiculous shit. It's like, what are you talking about?
I was hearing the same thing. I was like, how? I was like, it was
What?
alright.
Like
Yeah, I
what?
was like,
That's full of
no,
they're
that
full of
wasn't
shit.
bad.
They're full of shit. But
Um,
yeah, yeah, you know.
It said also today in them digital streets, I heard Jason Momoa is exiting Aquaman due to a terrible upcoming movie.
To a Due to a terrible upcoming movie.
Due to I guess Aquaman, because Aquaman is getting a lot of backlash right now. There's a lot going on behind the scenes in Aquaman right now. With the chick,
Like what?
especially with the girl, the co-star. What is her name? The one that we were talking. I forget her name. The female co-star.
What, they're talking about this again?
Yeah, yeah.
That shit was
Said
done
Jason.
months ago. Jesus.
Yeah. Nah. Well, I guess I guess they were still gonna go through with the movie, but now he plans on leaving the Lost Kingdom
Mm.
due to subpar quality of the upcoming sequel. In his eyes, he thinks it's and I kind of get it because they dumped a lot of money and a lot of everything in the Flash. Aquaman got no love, and then you had the girl um, with her antics and everything that went around with that. Me personally, and then they want to switch him over to the role as Lobo. I think I think he just wants to be done with Aquaman and just move on to Lobo and keep it moving.
Yeah,
Um,
it says he might not return to the Aquaman universe after the release of his 2023 movie Aquaman 2 and the Lost Kingdom. Why? Well, the actor reportedly heard of the script of the upcoming sequel is terrible. Looks like the future of DCU's Aquaman franchise is not too bright. Rumor mills have it that the test screenings of Jason Momoa's Aquaman 2 have received a rather poor response, with some viewers even walking out. Some viewers reportedly also felt that the James Wan directorial is possibly one of the worst DC movies in the DC universe. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is also the last film in the DC continuity featuring Jason Momoa. So what is Jason Momoa's future in the DCU? An insider named Jeff Snyder apparently has reliable information. As per the direct, Snyder shared that Momoa might feature as Lobo in the future. I hear it's terrible, and that's why Momoa is going to be Lobo going forward, but they can't say that yet because that would be a lame duck. And DC is hoping to wring another billion out of the box office. First one was awful too, so not a huge surprise, he said. Yeah. Who will play? Who will Jason play Momoa? For the unversed, Lobo is a villainous cosmic mercenary and bounty hunter who touches a nerve with some of DCU's heroes. Word on the street is that Lobo might also be the villain in the Superman Legacy movie, and that would be fucking amazing. And that's what I really hope this is going to be. Earlier this year, Momoa sort of put up a cryptic post, saying that he has great news with Warner Brothers, and he also went on to thank DC Studios heads James Gunn and Peter Safran. And given that Momoa is keen on playing the character of Lobo, it would be a big surprise if he actually features. It wouldn't be. Time will tell, but I don't know if he's gonna come in as the villain, or if it's gonna be like a Lobo where he's the anti-hero bounty hunter, or if he's going to be a bad guy Lobo. But for now, yeah, Aquaman comes out December 25th. That'll be his last. That'll be his last Aquaman. But I don't get that, Stu, because we know that's his last Aquaman movie.
Right, right.
We didn't think he was doing no more.
I didn't think they were gonna make another one. To be honest
Uh,
with you, I didn't think they were gonna do another Aquaman.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not. This doesn't kind of don't make no sense because they're acting like this is new information. This is old information, bro. But this is new. That this is just they just printed this shit 13 hours ago. So, but yeah, they're saying people definitely saying people walked out of the test screenings of the second movie. Damn, man. Yeah, Amber Heard, that's that chick, Amber Heard, the what's his name? Johnny Depp wife.
Johnny Depp's wife, yeah. I don't understand what her whole court thing has to do with the movie. Like, where people just like, oh, she needs to be canceled. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
you know
get
how
that.
that shit goes. That's cancel culture bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't
See,
get that
cancel
whole
culture, you gotta be careful with that, man. Like, here's a good example. Okay,
corny shit, corny.
now you say, all right, we got to be more sensitive. We got to stop the stereotypes and that. But yet, on all your products in every supermarket, you done made white America more whiter than white before. Okay, you took away Aunt Jemima, you took away Uncle Ben, you took away what was the Mexican dude, Paso Pecan, whatever, the two Mexican brands with those. You took away all the minorities off all those boxes, and what you got
Right,
left? Captain
right.
Crunch, Rice Krispie guys. You know what I'm saying? You got,
Quake
you know what I mean?
Quaker
All
Oats.
it's all like Quaker Oats, right? It's all white
Yeah.
guys. So if you were going to take them off, you should have just took everybody off of every box.
Yeah,
You know
dog.
what I
That's
mean?
kind of yeah. Cause the Uncle Ben's was fucking tasteful. I mean, that was it wasn't like they were making fun of nobody on that box. Like
Nah,
it
nah.
wasn't a caricature or no shit. The Aunt
Right.
Jemima thing I kinda get, maybe the whole mammy thing, maybe that's a thing, maybe that kind of tracks, but the other shit, bro, come on.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's like, yeah, you remove all the minorities, and
right.
then the only thing you leave is all the
All the
white
white people.
characters. Right. So you should have just
I
took them
bet
all off. Like, that would have
yeah,
made more
man,
sense
I never
than
thought of
just
that.
take. Yeah. So it's like what sense did it make? It made no sense at all. So
Yeah. Well, that's why they say, don't beat the people getting mad. You know what I'm saying? Don't beat me getting mad. Like, let me be mad about my own shit. Don't be mad for me because you don't know what the fuck I'm really mad at.
right, right.
You don't really get it. So fucking stand back.
Now, Hot Toys has just released. I don't know if it's in the stores or whatever. You maybe you can go on their site and get it. The 1989 Michael Keaton Batman
Mm,
and Batmobile return
dope.
as Hot Toys. Did
They're
you see them
so
yet?
let me oh, I thought it was a photograph of Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
I
that's how real it looks. Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
good they look. Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy. If you
yeah. I was
got
looking at
you
it
got $1,000,
earlier.
you know what I'm saying? If you
Yes,
got 1,000, if
yeah.
you don't
That's what I was saying. I was like, damn, bro. Like,
'cause I think that shit probably gonna run you probably 300 for the hot toy, maybe 250 or something. I don't know. But that Batmobile's gotta be fucking $500.
the Batmobile is dope, bro. That joint is phenomenal, man. And I
It's a
think
it's a it's a Hot Toys Batmobile?
that's a Hot Toys Batmobile,
Bro, that shit's gotta
bro.
be about this big.
You
That
think
shit
so?
gotta be as big as the aircraft carrier. Hot Toys are like 12 inches. They're fucking huge.
Yeah, they are huge. Yeah,
Think
because I
about that,
know,
how big that car
because I
gotta
know
be.
even I know even the Michael Keaton Bat. When I was looking at the pictures earlier, they had like a they had him standing on like a gargoyle, but he was standing on like a brick wall,
Yeah.
and it was a gargoyle. And he was like standing behind it, getting ready to shoot his this grapple gun. And I
Mhm.
think that's you can buy that as well. I think that either comes with it or you can buy it. It's like part of the whole thing, man. It's dope. But you're right. Yeah, Hot Toys is
Yep.
big. That's got to be huge, bro. I don't listen.
It's gotta be
Listen,
big,
man.
man, because yeah, they're like 10 inches, I think, Hot Toys. I know they're bigger than 7 inches. I think they're about 10 to 12 inches, but that means that car's gotta be pretty big. What's Corey saying? It said, "Yo, is it me or RZA a little bothered that Ree didn't jump on the Meth Mary mix? Who is Ree? R-E. What do you mean by that, Corey? Um, that did you mean to say he? Is R next to H? No.
A
Yeah.
little.
Was he a little bothered that Ree didn't jump on the Meth Mary remix?
Oh, Ray. It
Oh,
mean Ray
Ray.
or Reed?
Ray?
Oh, he didn't jump on him. That he
Yeah, I
wasn't
don't know.
on the
Yeah,
mix.
I don't know.
Is it
I don't know.
Reed, he, or Ray? It's gotta be Reed, he, or Ray.
Yeah. He is what he said. He. Okay. He. Okay.
I know. I heard Meth tell that story. He said when they did that, um, that was part of the that was originally on his original album, and they got married down with that, and he actually when they came out with the beat and everything, um, Meth said they didn't even know it was gonna be a hit like that. Like that was one of the hits off of that first album.
Well,
And it
the
was it
way
was huge.
the way it came out on the first album was didn't sound nothing like the hit version. That's when Puffy came in and did the
Yeah,
remix,
I did
and
the
that's
remix.
what.
Yeah,
So yeah, he was a little bothered by that Corey because what it was he was like a little salty that Puffy was doing the track, and then he was like, that's not that's not really our style. That's not Wu Tang, and it's Puffy, and but it's like he might have been a little salty that that song blew up and he wasn't on he wasn't the producer on it.
but that's
But
how we did remixes back then. Like you would
yeah,
do like you had your hip hop version, and then they
right.
had the, like kind of like the R&B
Club joint.
remix,
Yeah, it's like the
right?
club
And
or the
and they
R&B mix.
and Meth was big, and a lot of his lyrics, you hear him say stuff like like you was caught, you was tripping, you got caught in the R&B section. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And got spotted like, we ain't no R&B rappers. Like he was big on
yeah,
that. That
yeah.
was that was some of his most famous lines. So to come out with kind of like a crossover record, that was big for them. Period. But it worked in their favor because
Oh
it
yeah.
pushed the group. It pushed the whole group. And according to Method Man, he wasn't even supposed to be part of the group at first. He said that he said, but when the day it came to go down to the record company, everybody was there. RZA was like, you know what? Fuck this. Everybody coming. We all. And he said when they asked him, RZA was like, "We all Wu Tang, all of us. We all Wu Tang. This is the group." And the record company was looking crazy, like, "Damn, it's like none of these jokers. Like, we never
Yeah.
seen a group this big, man. Not even the Temptations. Like, what's going on?"
Mhm.
And so he said, but RZA wanted to get everybody signed, and that was the only way he could do it. He
Yeah,
just was like, "Yeah, everybody Wu Tang. This
yeah.
whole
It
group
was
right
it was
here,
8
everybody."
it was 8 of them. It was everybody except Master Killer was there. And,
And Cat wasn't there. Cat wasn't there either
yeah,
because
well,
Cat was locked up at the time.
I just mean out
And
of the 9.
matter of fact, he said you guy was locked up too. I think he said you guy was locked up at the time too, or had just got locked up. Either you guy had just got locked up or was locked up. But Meth said when they went, he didn't have everybody, and they expected him to have a certain amount of people. So he said when he went, he just sold it to him like, "Yo, everybody here is like this whole thing is Wu Tang, and we just a group." And then they did the solo album deal for everybody. And Meth was saying that originally he wasn't even supposed to be in a group. He said originally Wu Tang was only supposed to be RZA, Jizza, and ODB. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Way early, way early before they were doing any before they were that was concept era, concept time. Yeah, that's true. But the accuracy, I mean, it's based on the true story, but it's still, like how accurate it is to the group's actual story and actual documentary. It's not really easy to discern, some of it. You can piece it together with the documentaries and the things, the interviews and stuff. But it's set during the early 1990s in New York, and so all of that stuff is there. That the 90s Staten Island stuff like that. I mean that shit's pretty good, pretty accurate, and but it definitely delves into the early lives, of the 9 dudes that became the original 9 members during the 90s crack era and all of that. and it's based on real events, but ultimately is dramatized. Of course, Wu Tang Clan and the people, important to the journey, and the people that they named and all that are the real people. The names of, all of those, not just the group members, but the, Divine and the managers and Steve Rifkin and all of these people. The real journalists and all of that. They're using all the real people, but it's not a documentary, it's a TV series. It's definitely
Yeah,
dramatized. But it is
it is.
based on reality, you know.
Yeah.
Raekwon never shot up Ghostface's house, for example. Ghostface's house got
Nah,
shot up, but it
but
wasn't
it
by
wasn't. It
Raekwon.
wasn't red. It was Quan, right? Yeah.
But the show does have an
Yeah.
air of fiction. I mean, you've got things like the tongue in cheek, the animated sequences, for example, to filter the real story through. And but answering the question of how accurate it is pretty complicated. It's more complicated than it appears on the surface. Ultimately, it is rooted in the truth of Wu Tang, but adding all the fictionalized elements for entertainment purposes, and it gets sort of muddy. But the guy who created it, Alex Zay, he did the Watchmen. He did the Watchmen, the show, The Watchmen, I think, and RZA. They're the ones that sort of, you know, and Anton Sanders, the guy that's playing RZA, and they're saying that it's spiritually very truthful and accurate. So if that, but they not only maintain that it's spiritually true, but RZA even claims that in some ways it's more accurate than a documentary, explaining that he said the show touches on things that maybe we were too shy to say in front of the camera. It opens up more about the Wu that you can't find in the Showtime documentary. End quote. And regardless of whether, the show is completely true or the fictional format might have helped tell a more accurate story, making the TV show more unique, was I think that was the what they accomplished. It was dope. It's dope. But like I know what Riz is saying, like some of the stuff that they show in the show, they stuff that they wouldn't say in interviews and stuff like that. For example, in today's episode, right? It's about the tour. It's the first time that we really see them on tour. Like we knew they went on tour before in the show and stuff like that, but this is the first time that we really spend a whole episode on the tour bus, right? And backstage and things like that. And but there's uh a woman that Ghostface meets up with, that they name, I think they said she was, I forget what her name was, but she meets him at at one of the shows, and basically tours with them, rides on the bus a lot and is with him a lot. And RZA is kind of feeling like, what the fuck? Because remember, Ghostface is with RZA's sister. They got a kid together. They live together. That's his, his baby mama and all of that. And so RZA's feeling like, damn dog, you can't be dissing my sister like that. And but before he says anything to Ghost, he goes to Divine, who's also, RZA's brother, and he's like, yo, the fuck Ghost doing, man? That's our sister, And Divine was like, listen, man, they got they got an understanding. And RZA was like, she knows about this, and he was like, look, I don't know if she knows, but she knows that he's on tour when he's on tour, like blah blah blah, like, but whatever, stay out of their business kind of thing. But shit like that, it's not gonna be in interviews. You're not gonna see shit like that in documentaries. And even the house getting shot up, a lot of the personal shit that we get to see in this show, you did not know that from knowing about Wu-Tang in the 90s. You don't know that from watching any of the documentaries. It's shit that you would only get from this show. It's only been told in this show. The only other place that we get stuff this on the inside is in like Raekwon's book, or like the Wu Manual, or the Tao of Wu Tang or shit like that. Like some of the books written by the guys. That's the only time we hear any of this stuff. So that aspect of it in that way, it's a lot more real than you'll get from a documentary in some ways. That's kind of what he's saying. So I feel that. It makes sense. Speaking of hip hop, though, T.I., man, T.I. wants to dethrone himself as King of the South with a final album named Kill the King. T.I. officially denounces his iconic title of King of the South by naming his album Kill the King, ending his sort of reign as King of the South. But TMZ had talked to T.I. about it and the meaning behind the name and stuff. And I guess T.I. revealed that Mystical, Mystical, here I go, that guy. So he inspired the tagline of Kill the King, and he referred to himself as the Prince of the South on the album Tarantula, which sort of helped T.I. to claim the empty throne of T.I., of King of the South. Debuted on the Royal Crown on Two Glock Nines, the track he did with Beanie Siegel, and sort of went on claiming his rule, and even named his 2006 album King. And that was sort of the beginning of that long road of many challenges, opposition, and adversity. He said, and before claiming the throne, he sort of went on. He went to legendary Southern rappers like Outkast, Scarface, Goody Mob, and like UGK, and went to them to get their blessing before he sort of proclaimed himself King of the South. And he said, "Big Boy of Outkast cautioned me of the title back when I was coming onto the scene." He said, "Big Boy said, it sounds cool. I like it. But understand, when you are the king, you put a big bullseye on your back. You can't look for no favors. Life is a game of chess. And the name of the game is called Kill the King. That's what you're setting yourself up for." At the age, I didn't really think much of it. Ti said. So that's pretty insight. And earlier this year, Tip recalled DJ Drama's reaction to calling himself King of the South at the time during the interview with Sharon Sharp. He said, "DJ Drama called me into a freestyle on a mixtape, and he said, I said King of the South in the freestyle, and he kind of raised his head like, whoa, what is that? What did you say?" And I said, "You heard what I said." Uh, yeah, yeah. 20 years later, T.I. is sort of reflecting on what Big Boy had told him, and he said, "Looking back on my career experiences that I endured, I can see what he meant." As he's readying himself to step down from his acclaimed title, he sort of explains that the title of this final album and what it means to him. He said, "Kill the King to me is a representation of killing the ego." Right? I feel like the King of the South title is very egotistical. He said in the video, he said, "It's a persona that enters the room before I do physically." And he wants to sort of shed that, I guess.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, it's part of growing up. Rappers like, that young rapper of, I'm the king, I'm the best and all that. That's that ego.
Mm. I mean,
You know.
it's weird. It's weird he would do something like that. Man. Oh, we'll see how it works out.
Mhm. Yeah. A defense
I mean,
attorney, the
he is one of the more popular. He is one of the more popular rappers in the South, man. I mean,
yeah.
think about it, man.
Yeah, by a lot. But the one of the we was talking about the Extentacion and Drake issue that Drake got subpoenaed by one of the defense lawyers for the guys that killed Extentacion, and I guess one of his armed guards kicked the subpoena in the courtroom. he sub- he he refused it and kicked it. Uh, One of the defense attorneys in the murder trial claimed a servicer was confronted by armed guards during the attempt to serve Drake with the subpoena. The subpoena server, and according to the Miami Herald, Mauricio Padilla, lawyer for Dedrick Williams, one of the three men accused of murdering X, issued a motion last week requiring Drake to deliver a deposition later this month. Padilla mentioned that when an attempt was made to deliver the subpoena outside his California home on Valentine's Day, guards not only closed the gates in the face of the process servers, but also kicked the subpoena down the driveway. uh, the lawyer's account of the interaction shows members of Drake's security team refused to budge even as the subpoena server deployed a variety of attempts to get the subpoena in Drake's hands.
No, mama,
Processor,
not.
yeah. Apparently, Drake's staff believes that physically kicking the subpoena is a legally sound way of refusing service. So I guess the process servers, this is about the 3 defendant trial in Florida. Okay, blah blah blah. The document explains the process servers went to Drake Mansion. Process server number 2 said, "You are being served," and the security said, "Nope, no one is being served." And the process server said, "Aubrey," and the security said, "Nope, no one is being served." And the process server said, "Aubrey, aka Drake, you are being served." And the security said, "Nope." And the process server 2 said, "By the way, I like Drake." Uh, the security told him, "This is private property." And the process server said, "Can I have your name?" And the security said, "Nope, there's no need. You got to get off private property, guys. It's private property. You guys got to get off private property." And the server said, "All right, we are process servers." And security said, "You guys got to get off property." And the processor said, "The law provides us to leave it with security." Yeah, it's back and forth. But it must be nice to have armed guards at your fucking driveway, right?
Man,
Can't
might
nobody
need
come.
them. You know what I'm saying? You might need it. You never know.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Never know who might come try to come and subpoena you. So, yeah, go ahead,
Exactly.
guys.
You know?
You definitely don't want to be subpoenaed.
Nah, you don't want that. Robert Downey Jr., studio exec, said that he is off the table for any future MCU appearances. And I didn't know that he was ever on the table for any more appearances, but I guess
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I thought he was out, but um I guess it's official now.
He said the
Uh
only way he would come back is in a flashback or retcon, like if they did a movie about when he was alive or something that happened. But he said not in a capacity. He said that in his eyes, he said that would be corny, for
yeah.
lack of a better word, to just to find some way to bring him back. He
Yeah.
said, nah, they did what they
Oh,
did. It is what it is. That's how it's going to end.
right. And Steven Broussard, he's one of the executives at Marvel Studios. He said if you look at like Cassie Lang, Quantumania, getting a suit, and Kate Bishop in Hawkeye, new characters being introduced like Jack in Werewolf by Night. After these first 10 years of Marvel storytelling, torches are being passed, like with Robert Downey Jr. no longer being on the table and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a new generation stepping in the forefront, which again has always happened in the comics. Um, I disagree. It hasn't always happened in the comics. It's recently started to happen in the comics, but for how many decades was it the same characters? I mean, it's kind of gonna
It's
be,
true.
I think it's a huge gamble for Marvel to replace all these characters with all these young kids. I don't think it's gonna go over like they think it is. It's definitely not gonna be like the first 10 years. You know, what was so great? I mean, having guys like Robert Downey Jr. and you know, the great actors that we had, um was part of what made it great. And I mean, sorry, the girl that played Cassie Lang, the girl that played Kate Bishop, the guy that plays Jack, the guy that played like none of these Young Avengers characters, none of these kids, the Marvel, like none of these kids could carry that torch or carry the MCU like that. Um, he emphasized that phase 4 is the bridge from the older generation to the newer generation. They keep saying newer generation instead of younger generation. They're saying older and newer. And he said now that those players are on the board and there's a big bad coming in the form of Kang the Conqueror, it's about like, what are they going to do with that? What are they going to do with this power? Because perhaps you've heard, with great power comes great responsibility. End quote. And all this comes off of fan speculation and rumors that with the multiverse being a factor and the new Avengers movies on the horizon, that there'd be a variant of an armored hero, of Earth 838, who was played by Robert Downey Jr., with upcoming reprisals of characters like Michael Keaton's Batman and the big massive response we had to the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire coming back on Spider-Man, and fans would like to see their favorites coming back in, like that. So I can see it. I can see it being cool in some situations, but it would be corny, the way that they've got it set up, man. They've really dug themselves into a fucking deep shithole. They delayed the Marvels. Um, it looks like what you call it. Deadpool 3 is now delayed.
It's a lot of
Mm.
backlash from Ant-Man, bro. I mean, but it
Well, Hugh
wasn't a bad
Jackman.
movie.
No,
It wasn't bad. And then
Hugh Jackman made an announcement, and that now Deadpool is being, what do you call it, delayed, I guess. What was the big announcement though? He said, don't worry. He said this. He said, speaks of my death and Logan. As soon as, but don't worry, the stars of the film have been coming to Logan. Of course, didn't elaborate on what he meant. Don't worry, the stars of the film have assured fans that the continuity of Logan won't be touched. Of course, they didn't elaborate on what that meant, but there are likely some timeline or general multiverse shenanigans at play. Alongside the big announcement, it was also revealed just when the film would hit theaters, September 6, 2024. Sadly, however, it seems that Ryan Reynolds, Mark with a Mouth, didn't give the tightest grip on that particular release date. Aaron Couch from Hollywood Reporter revealed that Marvel Studios has pushed back a few of its upcoming 2024 and 2025 releases, including Deadpool 3. The upcoming
mm,
Blade adaptation, starring Mahershala Ali, will be moving from November 3rd, 2023 to September 6th, 2024. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's Deadpool 3, which formerly held its spot, is now going to be in theaters November 8th, 2024. And this is despite the movie just having revealed that its release date only weeks ago, and announcing that Jackman would be reprising his role as Wolverine. Fantastic Four will now be debuting February 14th, 2025, as it leaves 2024 altogether. Then the culmination of Phase 6, Avengers Secret Wars, is now set to hit theaters May 1st, 2026.
mm.
Yeah, it's a lot
Blade.
of.
Blade, I knew was gonna get pushed back because about a month or two ago, I was reading about how they're having problems with shooting. I don't know what it is. The article I read didn't go into they didn't elaborate on it. They just said that they were having problems, shooting the movie. So I don't know if it's script, I don't know if it's actors, I don't know if it's whatever it is, but they said there were
Yeah, it's just
significant problems.
productions, behind the scene productions. They just
Yeah,
behind the scene issues. That's what.
yeah, could be anything. Yeah,
Yeah, they were.
yes.
Was blah, blah, blah. Part of the frustration is over the script, which
I heard
reportedly
that
had been
last
rewritten
year.
from scratch due to story issues that have arisen as Phase 5. So this shit, something in Phase 5 changed enough, or is significant enough that they had to completely rewrite the shit from scratch. So whatever, we don't know what that is, and doesn't sound fucking good. Uh, and now unfortunately, The next slate of movies might not include Blade at all, but definitely won't be as soon as we thought. But the along with the 3 other major theatrical Marvel Studio releases, being delayed. Yeah, the delay in production is gonna force Marvel to make some tough decisions with regard to its release schedule, even with 3 movies still set to premiere in theaters this year. Next year will follow, uh oh, okay. So we're only gonna get I think we only got 2 more fucking movies coming this year, and that's, Guardians
Yes.
3 and the Marvels.
Damn.
That's it.
That's kind of beat. Huh?
Which means 2024 is gonna be stacked.
You
Or
know
not.
what? It could be strategic too, because when does the DCU doesn't really kick off until what 2025? You
Yeah,
know. So yeah,
yeah,
I think that might be a
about the
strategic
same.
move where they want to drop all their stuff,
Yeah,
between 2024 and 2025, so they can, get
yeah,
what they can get. You
yeah,
because once these other
possibly.
movies come out, if they're better, people they're gonna dog it. They're gonna be, oh, I'm done with Marvel. I'm sticking with James Gunn. It's gonna be one of those things.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, upcoming shits, fans looking forward to Disney Plus's Ahsoka, are have all the more reason to be excited, thanks to an update from the show's star. The upcoming series will see the return of Ahsoka Tano in live action, and Rosario Dawson, is the character and the fan favorite, Togruta. First appeared in live action in The Mandalorian and then in Book of Boba Fett, all ahead of her own series coming this year. And Disney Plus recently listed the 2023 release as being a season 1, implying that a second season is could be in the works. And doing it during an interview on today with Rosario Dawson, they revealed a likely premiere date window open for the upcoming series. And Dawson explained it's probably going to come out in the fall. She said Ahsoka is probably going to come out in the fall. We're going to have Haunted Mansion coming out in August, and this has recently been pushed up to late July 1st. Haunted Mansion is set to release July 28th, so a release date for Ahsoka between September and November seems most likely at this point. And seemingly, it will be the next Star Wars premiere after Mandalorian's 3rd season, because that also drops, and Young Jedi Avengers, before being followed up by Skeleton Crew, which is still currently slated for 2023. But as more information about Ahsoka is revealed and the publicly announced cast continues to grow, a lot of fans are wondering, what the series is going to be about and what we can expect from it. And Star Wars Rebel fans will have an opportunity to sort of, return to their favorite characters and creatures like Sabine Wren, Ezra Bridger, the Loth Wolves, and all of that's supposed to be in there, in Ahsoka. And it appears that Rebels will be a heavy source of inspiration for the show's plot, because and that, that's a significant bit of information, because obviously Ahsoka is much more a part of the Clone Wars show than she was of Rebels. She sort of came in at the end in Rebels, and um but what happens at the end of Rebels is sort of what I think this show is going to be built off of. So when Ezra and Thrawn are, drift off into space, Ahsoka is looking for both Ezra and Thrawn, and so it'll follow that.
Mm,
So if you wanna know where Ahsoka's gonna go, watch Rebels, and, yeah, so that's where Rebels ends, I think, is where Ahsoka will pick up.
okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. Shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of cast
So,
members, characters rather, are already confirmed too. Obviously, Ahsoka, Sabine, um, which I think Natasha Lou Bordizzo is the one playing Sabine, and Sabine was a Mandalorian, by the way. She's a Mandalorian, and Anakin Skywalker is supposed to be in Ahsoka as well. He'll be a part of it because he was her master. So they'll probably at the very least be a lot of flashbacks and stuff of her remembering, their training and stuff like that. Because, like I said, Ahsoka was all through Clone Wars. I mean, that's it pretty much was about her and Anakin,
Yeah.
and yeah, and Chopper, the droid from
Yeah, I like
Rebels.
Chopper, man. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
Chopper.
yeah, Chopper will be in
Chopper,
there.
man.
He was
Oh,
also
he's gonna
in.
be. Is he gonna be in a live action joint?
Yeah, yeah, he'll be in live action, and
Oh, that'd be dope, bro.
he did make a quick cameo in Rogue One too. There's and news officially announced that last year's Star Wars Celebration, when the actual Chopper droid rolls onto stage when they were talking about the Ahsoka show, and but it's actually voiced by Dave Filoni in Rebels, so it'll probably be likely that he'll be voicing him again for the live action, though that's not confirmed. But um, Ezra Bridger is confirmed. Iman Esfandi looks just like him, so hopefully he's a good actor. He's cast, and then of course Grand Admiral Thrawn still rumored, but what a missed opportunity if they don't use him. I'm pretty sure he will, if not be talked about throughout it. Maybe he'll appear in the last episode or something like that. Like they'll show his face in the last episode. I could see them doing that if he's not going to be all through the show. That would be the least they should do, man, because it's hard to believe that somebody with 6 canonical books, not Legends content, 6 in canon books, it's Thrawn, and that's he's never been in live action. So with a large majority of the Star Wars Rebels cast returning, I, you can pretty much bet on Thrawn coming in, and the villainous admiral by Ray will be played by Ray Stevenson. So Ray Stevenson played Punisher in Warzone, and he's just like a what do you call it? An admiral, a villainous admiral. Um, and then there's another character named Babylon, which is
Mm.
rumored to be a Jedi Master. We don't know. They recently, released some details on this new character to be, for the upcoming series, a corrupted former Jedi, one who goes by the name Babylon. So it's probably like a gray Jedi or something, because not only will he be force sensitive, but he'll also be commanding his own battalion of special stormtroopers as he is pursuing Ahsoka and Ezra and Sabine. And additionally, whispers indicate that he's working under Thrawn. So, and then Shin, which is rumored to be in played by Ivana Senko. So Shin is again the same outlet that revealed Babylon. Also shed light on this character named Shin, who would be an apprentice to Babylon. Additionally, she's a dark side force user who has ties to the Night Sisters, and again, Clone Wars. You would have seen her, the Night Witches, the Night Sisters rather, and she might be a former Night Sister herself, which could be very cool. Anything to do with dark side force users, I'm definitely down for that. And apparently, the Loth Wolf from Rebels, which is just a creature, just a wolf type of wolf. Um, but yeah, that's apparently an important creature that will be showing up in the series in live action. Not only will it be involved in several sequences throughout the show, but Ahsoka will ride one in several scenes
Yeah.
as well. And she may even have her own specific one named Doom, because one twist on all of that is the possibility Doom might actually be a character who fans of Rebels would be very familiar with, Kanan Jarrus. In other words, Ahsoka's new wolf might be the physical manifestation of the now deceased character, as seen with Ezra at the end of the animated show's season 4. Um, in the show, Kanan is reincarnated in the wolf, sort of physical manifestation, I guess, of the. So it's weird, but with how many characters I think rumored to return, there's a few still missing. Most notably, Zeb was part of the original crew, and actually, he's an alien that was the original concept design for the Wookiee, but looks very different. But there's also Agent Callus, was a former Imperial officer who flipped on the rebellion, and as of now, no words been shared regarding their involvement. But all these characters involved are massive in the franchise's mythology, which means that everyone will likely be showing up for more shows or adventures down the line, and this also indicates that anyone who didn't get to show their face should have plenty of opportunities down the road, perhaps season 2. So a lot of characters that they could do.
Yeah, we need it.
For sure.
Definitely need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Dun, dun, dun.
And sadly,
So,
fucking, I don't understand why the worst Star Wars show is getting a season 2. Nobody liked Boba Fett. Why is Boba Fett coming back? I don't
I
get it.
think it's good. I think it's because they trying to redeem themselves, and
They got a
basically
lot of
tell us
work.
that this is going to be way better than season 1. So just give us a chance at season 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what they're saying. The source, the editor in chief, wrote, recently spoken to sources around Southern California who are working on production elements specifically tied to the character of Boba Fett himself. And the sources believe that the work that they're doing is for Boba Fett season 2, but this is just a rumor. It would also be odd seeing as most of the Star Wars related crew members are working on the Mandalorian's 4th season, because they're doing season 4. So I don't, which is expected to officially start filming in October this year. And that season's already been written. And there's a writer's strike about to happen in Hollywood, guys. So remember that when you're wondering why shit sucks in a minute. And they did this before. The writers, seriously, when a writers strike, dude, I remember when, like, the first time it happened in my
It was
lifetime,
bad.
movies were trashed for like 10 years.
Yeah,
It affected
it was
way
bad.
down the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really bad. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't think personally. I was like, writer strike. So what? Like, I didn't think it was gonna be.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, all right. So there's other people that are right. I thought they might have had like a conglomerate work, that work for the studio,
Backup
and they
writer?
just bringing
Yeah.
it back. Yeah, they just bringing it back up dudes or the part time guys or whatever.
Yeah.
But nobody was right. So I
Mm-mm.
said, damn, not even the backup guys. So
No. No. But
yeah, so
yeah, so yeah, but if those guys, if they're not working on Mandalorian, what are they working on? And Ward believes that it must be Boba Fett season 2, because he can see that 2 big projects appear to be underway at the same time. And he says that he has seen Moff Gideon's new Mando armor is being remade, Gideon's new Imperial troopers, and Mando's new jetpack, as well as new Boba Fett props. But he's certain that these are coming out of 2 distinct productions, not just The Mandalorian. And word around the studio is that Dave Filoni has been put in charge of a new project, and that the project is not the 2nd season of Ahsoka. So does this mean that it's Book of Boba Fett season 2? Possibly. Or it could be a rumored crossover event that is bringing all the shows in line in the so-called Mando era. And Ward is quick to emphasize that none of these rumors are facts, and that that he actually has no idea whether Book of Boba Fett will have a season 2, or if it does, or if they are working on it now. Apparently, hardly anyone knows, and if they know, they're not talking about it. But Ward does know that Boba Fett will be returning in some capacity to the Star Wars universe this year. That much is certain. But if it's going to be season 2 of Book of Boba Fett, or if he's going to be in the Mandalorian show somehow, or Ahsoka or whatever, that's not clear. Um, Book of Boba Fett did not receive great reviews from fans or critics, so it would be a bit surprising if it does return for season 2. Top critics on Rotten Tomatoes refer to it as a wilted mess, a series of compounding mistakes, while some even claim that it's so bad it could ruin Disney Plus's strategy to release more Star Wars spin-offs in the future. And for us, the Teletubby candy painted Vespas and the soft ass Grandpa Boba Fett is all we need to hate it. So, and audiences, other than us, we're not fans either. Uh, a lot of them just saying meh. Uh, and a lot of viewers complain that it's too slow or that they got bored before they finished the first episode. Um, but those that hung on till at least the fifth were still waiting for something to make it worthwhile. But it never came. You know, we got some cool shit, some cool Mandalorian shit in Book of Boba Fett, and it was cool to see Cad Bane in live action, although it was pretty lackluster in itself. So yeah, there's not much that redeems that show. There's just not much there that can redeem it. So I'm good if they just don't do anymore. And that's crazy to
Yeah,
me to say that because Boba Fett is Boba Fett. Come on.
I know,
But
man. And we love Boba Fett. It's just I
man,
don't know, man. They had you only get one shot, man. And they dropped the ball on Boba Fett. I mean, like even like I could even go with him. Like he said, I don't want to work for nobody anymore. I want to be the boss. But you could have presented that way better. And it's
that's
Boba
fine
Fett.
if he was a gangster.
Yeah, right. If he was gangster about it, we talking about Boba Fett here, bro.
Yeah, he should have been way more brutal, dog. We don't want to see Boba Fett becoming a peaceful fucking old Buddhist or some shit. That's not
Yeah, he's
what.
like, oh, let's just certain way we got to do it. Let's just talk about it. Sit down. No, that ain't Boba Fett. He go in there, shoot up the place. And this is what This is what we got. So
It is what it is.
I'd rather have, yeah, man.
The
I
Ant-Man
do have
director wants to do a Nova project for the MCU. I would love to see a Nova fucking movie. I'm surprised they haven't done Nova yet when they set him up for in Guardians with the Nova Corps and all that.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say with no Guardians, it would be the perfect time to do a Nova project.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he recently spoke with them about Quantumania, and he said that the projects he's interested working on was he shared that he would pass on leading the X-Men project in the MCU and prefers a character tied to the Guardians. He said, "I'm not an X-Men guy, so obviously I don't connect." But he said, Jeff Loveness is an X-Men guy. He said, Reed said, name dropping his colleague. He said, I love the X-Men. I love watching X-Men movies. I don't want to make an X-Men movie. And while this is not a direct confirmation that X-Men will be making their MCU debut soon, it gives fans hope that Marvel is already laying the groundwork for the project and that people are being picked and talked about and given jobs and stuff. But he likes working on lesser known characters like Ant-Man and stuff like that. And I guess he considers Nova in that sort of vein. He said that's what's great about Marvel because there's this infinite. The ones that are interesting to me now are kind of the lesser. He said, I mean, Ant-Man at the time, we knew Ant-Man, he was a founding member of the Avengers, but in terms of public consciousness, he was probably a B level, maybe C level character. Who knows? It depends on your point of view. I love that about him. End quote. And he's specifically interested in making a movie for Richard Rider, the human rocket, Nova. He's also known by the alias, and so while he was still an Earthbound superhero, is that's the sort of era because he does end up going out and pretty much everything is cosmic level stuff. But the Nova Corps have already appeared in the MCU, but not Nova himself. I was pretty sure Nova was gonna be in that when I saw Nova Corps, but um,
Yeah, but he wasn't.
yeah. The guy said, director of Ant-Man, so the guy that wants to make this movie, he said, "To me, he was almost like a subculture Marvel hero. It's what drew me, to bring it on, like, a movie about cheerleaders. That's weird, and it drew me to Down with Love." What? What is he talking about?
Remember, it's just his opinion.
He said, "To me, he was almost like a subculture Marvel hero. It's what drew me to Bring It On. Like a movie about cheerleaders? That's weird, and it drew me Down with Love. It's sort of like Rock Hudson, Doris Day homage as a romantic comedy set in their 60s. I'm into that. I had the same attraction to Ant-Man. It was kind of the same kind of thing, so I kind of like the idea. I would do a Nova movie. I love The Man Called Nova. Seems cool. Do not let this man do Nova, please. No. This guy, no. What? Hell no. In Marvel lore, uh, the last member of the space police, Roman Day, travels to Earth and selected the high school student Richard Rider as his replacement. And Rider took the uniform and the powers of the Nova Centurion and called himself Nova, becoming a superhero and fighting supervillains on Earth. And he discovered the Nova Corps spaceship orbiting the planet, and he used it to travel back to Xandar and join the war against the Skrulls. And then, got more, you know, uh, into the cosmic stuff. He's got superhuman strength, speed, durability. He can fly, absorb energy blasts, and he's a good hand-to-hand combatant. His suit gives him, lets him survive in space. And Marvel already announced last year that they're working on a Nova project for Disney Plus, but Marvel did not officially, announce a release window or anything yet. But I really don't want this guy the guy that made Ant-Man, I don't want him to do this Nova. Uh, I would like to see
No.
Nova done, I wanna man, I just wanna see a Marvel movie with some nuts. Like, it's been too long.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, yeah, it's been too long, like, we ain't had no Marvel movie with nuts, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, seems like they're all pink. The pink movies. I don't know. Yeah, man. Well, check us out, man. Check us out this Saturday. We'll be talking about DC Comics, DCU, DC stuff, GI Joe, Classified, all that good shit. And oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie too. I just want to put y'all on notice. The High Evolutionary is the character from he's going to be the bad guy. And so that's going to also open up possibilities for at least 6 other characters, okay? Because he's linked to Mr. Sinister, he's linked to Jackal, he's linked to the Knights of Wundagore, he's linked to Bova, he's linked to Man Beast and Spider
Yeah.
Woman, Jessica Drew.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
and
Mr.
and and,
Sinister is
and
all the hype in
yeah,
the X-Men joint right
hmm
now. Buy those comics. Listen, get those comics. Like I bought a lot of Supergirl comics the last 2 years, and they just
mm.
shot up in price now because of the James Gunn announcement of
You went silent.
I know, man.
Oh, okay. What'd you say? The announcement of what?
What happened? Nah, no, we got an unboxing.
Oh, you
Bang.
got a package? You got a package?
Oh
All right.
yeah, package
Bust,
came.
bust
You
it
know what I
out.
mean?
Bust it out
Let's see
before
what
we
we
go.
got. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Oh. Glam.
Booyah! Check it out, y'all.
Yes, sir. Black Adam Page Puncher.
That is dope.
Mhm. Yes,
That is
sir.
dope, son. Get a close up on that. That's not the Rock, y'all.
Now that ain't the Rock.
No.
I could have got the
Yeah,
Rock one, but I like this one better.
definitely. No, I don't want the Rock one. I want that one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta get that one. I
And the
gotta get
crazy
that
part is, I seen it at FYE and they wanted $40.
one. Damn, you still got FYEs up there? Ours closed
Yeah,
down.
man.
I used to
Yeah,
love
they did.
FYE.
Ours did too, but they bought them back for some mysterious reason.
Oh,
So
word? Mm.
yeah, no lie. They were only in Florida for a long. That was the only place I ever seen them after that. When they shut them all
Really?
down. Up there.
Yeah, I might have to check those out. But yeah, that fucking those page punchers, those three. So I got the Batman from that line. The Superman one I
I
don't like. It's looks like a weird
I've never seen the Batman or the Superman
real
ever.
tranny. I seen the Constantine one. They had one at my Walmart for like a minute, and that shit was gone. And then, but I never seen a Black Adam one. I didn't even know they had a Black Adam one.
Yes, sir.
That's the Batman.
That's the Batman one. Yeah, that's dope, man. I've only seen pictures. I've never seen it in person, but that joint is tough.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And the face is so. See if we can tell. Can't really tell, but the face is mad. It's just grimy. And then that's the Black Adam that I got.
Okay. Is that the multiverse one?
That's a multiverse one. Yeah,
I was looking for that one too, but I'll settle for this.
that's hard, bro. Yeah, I need that. I need that.
I'll settle for this one.
I gotta get that. I want to get that one and the Constantine one, and that Black Manta looks dope too. It's a
God,
couple dope
if I,
ones.
if I if I ever see Black Manta, I'm getting that. I have a Black Manta, but I just seen the one they're gonna put out for the Aquaman series. They're doing an Aquaman, the strictly Aquaman. They got Aquaman, Aqualad, the
Hmm.
new Aqualad. They got Black Manta, Ocean Master, and I forget who the fifth one was. It was 5 figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. No, I think you named them. I didn't. I don't. You named the ones I know. But yeah, man. We'll get into the DC shit on Saturday, and Stu will give you the couch rating for Quantum Mania. But all right, y'all. I think that's it, man. That's it for me. Yeah, man. Wu Tang, baby. It's
Yeah,
Wu
Wu Tang
Wars
forever.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That's our little show. We'll see y'all Saturday, every Monday, every Wednesday, every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be here live, chopping it up, kicking the bobo, talking about hip hop and comics. We'll see y'all next Saturday. Peace.
Peace.
See you Saturday.